Hello students, this is Dr. Singhal. In this video number 4, I will describe how to fill the answer key array and time permitted, couple of other functions, at least one more. And that way you'll see how each part of this program are being built function by function and how we will combine them together later. That's pretty much the process of building software. Function by function, unit by unit, and testing and combining all the units at the end. I'm not showing testing because these things take time, but in real software engineering you will actually write a function and test it, write another function and test it, and so on, and we have shown that to you in the class. So the next task that we have is to fill this answer key array. Answers are 0 or 1. 0 is false, 1 is true. And basically the way answer file has the answers is that answer to first question in the question array is the first answer in the answer file. Answer to the second question in questions array or questions file for that matter is the second answer in the answer file, and so on. Answer file is right here. So obviously you can see at this point that one has to have some care in preparing these files so that questions and answers are always mapping together, and questions are in certain order and their answer has got to be in the answers file in the same order. You don't have to have two different files, but it's just convenient. You could have had questions and answer all in the same file. We could have had them in one after another, but that makes file reading somewhat difficult, and this is a simpler way to do it. All right, so let's go to Xcode and see some additional functions that are part of this program. So this time we are going to describe a function called fill answers array, and it takes a Boolean array as an argument, and of course answer file is 0 and 1. In C++, which is different from other languages, 0 is the Boolean false and 1 is the Boolean true. And it also takes a stream object. It doesn't have to be INQ, you can call it something else. But basically this if stream object is bonded to the answers file. And how that happens, you will see when we discuss the main function, that how this gets bonded to the answers file. Okay, so fill answers array function reads answer from the answer file, fills an array with the answer keys, and there is a one answer key per array element. Function takes an empty answers array and if stream object bonded to the file. Function fills the answers array with answers and returns the logical array length by return mechanism. Okay, and of course if number of questions are 10, number of answers should be 10 as well, but still it's important to get the logical length return just in case if there was some problem with the file, then we will be aware of that, and in that case we can proceed accordingly. So let's go to the code. Code for fill questions array function is very simple. It's not a very difficult piece of code. I'm sorry, the fill answers array is very simple. It's not a difficult code because the file structure is very simple. That's why. So all file has to read is 0, 1, 0, etc. binary values. So here the loop is very simple, similar to the one we did in the fill questions array. So basically I have an int I and a character, and I peek into the file As long as I don't reach end of the file, and as long as I is less than max, and max is 10 on the top of the program, then I can simply store answers from the file into the answers array right here, okay? And then I increment I++, I increment I, and I will be the logical length at the end when I exit the loop. So let's see a couple of iterations of this loop, how that will work. Looking at the file, so I started with the value of I is 0, 0 less than max, max is 10, is true. So that's one part of the loop condition that is true. And then if I look at the file, the first character is not EOF, it's rather a 0 value. So this is not the end of the file. So this condition is also true, that first character peeked at is not end of file. So both conditions are true. So we enter the loop. So at answer array 0, I will store, that's the file again, 0, okay? And that's what is showing here in our document here. 0 is the correct answer in the answer key array, okay? Then my I increases to 1. 1 less than 10 is also true. And if I look at my file, after 0 there is a character 1. And don't forget that in extraction operator skips white space, it doesn't even look at them, so we're not concerned about the white space. So then there is character 1 which is not EOF. So in the second loop iteration, 1 is read into the answers array 1, and my array of answers will change like this. So that makes sense, because question in the array element 1 with index 1 was moon is a satellite of Earth, and answer that is true, and 1 will be true in this case. And the mechanism is same. The iterations of the loop keep going until I exit the loop, because I has attained a value of 10, and of course at that time also end of file character is also read. So both these conditions actually become false at the same time, and the function will return a value of 10 in this case for the file that I'm showing you here, because it has 10 answers. On questions file has 10 questions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So this function is pretty simple. If you understand the loop, you understood everything. And this will fill the answer key array. These are not the answer by the students. These are just the answer keys, basically. All right. Okay, so in this video, we have some time to go through one more function. Okay, our next task is to fill the user response array. User will be presented with the questions. Questions will be displayed to them. They will be instructed to answer either 0 or 1. They will choose one of the two, 0 or 1, and that response will be recorded. Okay, let's see how that works. Here's the description of the fill response array function. Fill response array manages the following. It presents user the questions. It gets user response to each question and stores them in a response array. It keeps track of logical length of the response array. And the function takes as an argument the pre-filled question array. So question array is already filled, and an empty response array. And the function records user responses to the questions that were in the questions array and returns the response array by reference, and also returns the logical length of the response array by the return mechanism. Okay, so it does all that. and it takes questions array and empty response array and the logical length of the questions array. LENQ means logical length of the question array. Notice this const is given because we don't want questions array to be changed accidentally inside this function. So anytime you don't want something that is passed by reference, arrays are passed by reference automatically, then you pass them as a const reference actually, okay? And really this function is quite simple. So all it is doing is, it has a questions array here, and it's outputting, please answer the question as asked. Questions are true or false. Enter 1 for true answer and 0 for the false answer. And here we can just use a very simple for loop running from I equal to 0 to I less than ln q. Okay, so okay, I think this description here is wrong, that function returns the response array logical length by return mechanism. Obviously we didn't do that because it's a void function. That can be done if you like, but we just haven't done that. So there is an error in this description here. So really basically I should be deleting this part. Okay, I might have thought of doing that once, but I guess I didn't do it later. So really the description is that. All right, so we run a for loop for the questions length array, length of the array question, array containing the question, and first the question 0 with the subsequent zeros presented, and then right after that the response is recorded. So this process keeps going until we have exhausted the length of the questions array. We have presented all the questions. Okay, so let's kind of look at it just for 1 minute in the Microsoft Word. So this is the question array. This question will be presented. User will enter either 1 or 0 depending on the answer. Then this question will be presented. User will record either 0 or 1 to this answer that question. This will be presented and they will write an answer which will be recorded here. So finally the response array is filled by the fill response array function, and this will be called from the main, and basically our response array is filled. That's the whole idea behind this function. Okay, you need to answer the following questions as well when you understand the code of this function. That which of the 3 conditions below will cause a software error? You should explain your answer. A, response array is of same capacity as questions array, which means this array and this array have the same capacity. Response array is smaller in capacity than questions array. That means this array is smaller in capacity than that one. And response array is larger in capacity than questions array, which means this array is larger in capacity than that. Okay. And in which of the non-errant cases above would the function fill response array would need to return the logical length of response array to the caller function? Please answer these questions as well. Thank you. And I'll be back in the next video.